Hi, folks. It's Larry Talks again. It's May 6th, 2017, and this program is put together very quickly for a news story today or yesterday. Hi! Um, a man by the name of Bob Zod, I'm going to spell it, Zawadski, Zahadsky, died a year ago. He was a married gay person. Uh, the lover wanted cremation in the state of Mississippi, and the funeral home denied him. This is an act of racism, of discrimination that serves, no one would know about it. It's taken a year for the media to get a hold of it because now the civil rights organizations are suing the funeral home for discrimination. The man is dead. He's actually not gay anymore. But no, they won't burn the body. And there was the only funeral home in the town in Mississippi. And you can look this up on Bob, Zawadski, on YouTube, and you'll see the story. Um, to me, what this represents, this is a case of racism that is so outrageous because it doesn't, if you wanted to demonstrate or say something, no one would hear it. So why would you do it? The man is dead. You're a funeral home. He wants to be cremated. How is there why would you deny that? Well, of course he's being sued, and only a year later does the public find out about it. But to me, this is an example of Trump racism gone awry. The examples of racism since Trump came in, and this is what bothers me about the whole thing about Trump. I believe that he should be impeached just on the racism, because racism is unconstitutional for the president of the United States. You cannot believe in inequality and be president of the United States, to me. And eventually that will come up. But the Republicans are making so damn much money on this deal, they don't care about race. And let me give you a few other examples that have occurred. The most recent being his own colleague in the Senate, Elizabeth Warren. She wanted to come over and see him. He said, I don't want to see Pocahontas. Pocahontas is an Indian name, and it's like that's an insult. The President of the United States. And this is what gives assholes like these stupid people in Mississippi denying cremation to a gay man who's dead. That kind of racism is just unheard of. And this very day, Trump has said he wants to cut out of a budget. The name of the colleges, there's millions of dollars for a black college and university in the budget. And he says, I want to cut that out because that's discrimination. In other words, we're discriminating because we're giving money to a black college. Oh, you didn't know, Mr. President, that it's the only black college in the South that blacks can get into today. Oh, but you didn't know that they're discriminating because all whites aren't denied, but blacks, it's the only place they can go. Oh, so we better stop that because that favors blacks. Yeah. Oh, really? See, most people in the world don't know that the South still discriminates. It's public schools. What happened after 1954 when segregation was outlawed was the whites sent all their kids to private school. Now, the head of education today is doing the same thing. The woman DeVos that he put into office as head of the schools is cut out $9 billion from public schools, especially to get rid of education for the special ed. So we'll pay a lot more for special ed, and the poor kids, they can go to the public schools, and we're now going to use all the public federal education money for private schools. And who will go? Well, the people who can afford the tuition and the subsidies from the federal government. Um, I mean, to me, this alone, and what really angers me is the fact that as these stories go on, they don't mention this is an act of prejudice. This very day, when he says we're not going to fund a black college in the South, as we've been doing for 100 years, because there are no black colleges in the South. Oh well, if we have a black college in the South, that's that's segregation. Yeah, see, he's so ignorant. He's never read a book, and knows nothing about the history, and that's what he said today. And then this Pocahontas thing, his own people in the Senate saying a thing like that and putting her a racist because Elizabeth Warren has some Indian blood in her. There are lots of examples in the paper about racism that just is outlandish. I'll give you another example. There were 2 Sikhs killed a year ago, right when he was. No, well, of course, the worst racism. You say, "Oh, he's not a racist. He says he isn't." Oh, remember Obama? Remember that all this time he's been saying Obama is not a citizen of the United States. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. He's never apologized. He still believes that. So don't tell me he's not a racist just because he says he's not a racist. Look what he's doing. And then these stupid, crazy racists, well, they say, oh, let's deny a gay guy a funeral because that's what America's all about now. We got a president who says it's okay to be a racist. And what really bothers me is that the media given up. And I say one of the most eloquent things said in the last 100 days was someone was trying to defend, there was a panel on MSNBC defending Trump. And a black guy who worked for Obama was on the panel, and he said, and some Mexican was saying, "Oh no, I'm all for Trump. He's a great guy. We're making money." And this guy said, "Look, I will not speak to you. I won't even answer you. I won't even talk to you, and I won't talk to Trump because you're both racist." Anybody who, with a history of racism that Trump has, deserves no respect from anybody. He certainly doesn't deserve to be president. He's not fit. By the way, this very day, 53 psychiatrists have signed a document saying he's unfit to be president. Another 500 have supported that statement. And the Constitution says you can remove a president for being unfit for office. So, but then who's going to back this up? You have to have Congress do this, and I don't see them doing it because the rich people hold all houses and the Supreme Court, and they expect to make a lot of money from this president. They don't care about the people at all. The good news is that there is a resistance movement that is extremely large, and what it's doing, and they're very serious about this, and this is happening. Both city and state offices, people are going to be running for these offices and taking over the government. It'll take several elections for them to do it. But we already see that, I think it's in Georgia, there's a Democrat running who's only 30 years old, ran against 10 Republicans, and he almost got the office without a runoff. You needed 50%, and he got 48 against a bunch of Republicans, and this is a Republican state or county. So, a district, they call them. So the resistance movement is beginning, and eventually, if the 50% of Democrats that didn't vote had turned out to vote, we wouldn't be in this mess. The health care bill, which wants to take 24 million people off of health care, and charge people who are in their 40s and 50s 4 times the amount they're paying now, and then giving a tax break to the rich of $800 million. That's not going to go anywhere. But the Republicans had the nerve to get up and celebrate that on TV, the passage of that bill in the House. It's going to the Senate now. It won't go anywhere there, and it will never become law. But again, it's going to make people join the resistance. And I do believe that this will. But I tell you what really bothers me is this very thing and this death of this refusal to cremate a gay man, which has no, I mean, that had no public value at all. It's taken a year for us to even hear that it happened. And yet the guy was that hateful that he would not cremate a gay man who was married in the state of Mississippi. That's where Martin Luther King said the state dripping with racism. Well, it still is. and Sessions, who is the Attorney General of the United States, said, just to show how retro things are, how crazy things are, he said, I joined the Ku Klux Klan today, but you know what? They say they smoke marijuana, so I won't join the Ku Klux Klan. But the upfront avowed racism of the highest levels of the United States is unconstitutional, number one. But none of the only people who can sue on this are, well, I don't know. I'm not so sure. I don't think that, I really don't think Trump will last 4 years because he's defied the Constitution in so many ways. And the other thing that's going to happen immediately is in the elections, the Democrats are going to start taking over everything because everybody's going to see that these guys are out to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. And this health care bill, if you hear anything about the details, is so egregiously anti anything but the top 1%. And then Trump's, I'm all for the working class. I don't know how anybody can be so stupid as to believe that, because his actions have proved just the opposite. Wall Street is on all of the cabinet of the president. So that's about it. Again, I want to repeat the name, and you'll see this in the news. And I would advise you to see the link is all links in description. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. YouTube has the story of this man. So all you need to do is go to YouTube and spell his name, and you'll see a summary of the story of what set me off here. Bob, Zawadzki, Bob Zawadzki. This happened in May of 2016. He died at 82. It happened in the state of Mississippi. And it is just another example of the influence of Trump's racism. And it disappoints me that our media have just basically stopped talking about it. Link to video. The link to the video description. Well, I just described it. It's YouTube. It's YouTube Bob Zawadzki. So Zawadzki, Zawadski. My director is trying to tell me something about a better direction for more information. It's in the description of this video. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, that's all I have to say, but it's a lot. I have not heard, and I say this to the world, that our president is a bigot. and that bigotry makes him unconstitutional to not believe in the equality of all citizens. And when will America rise up against something so evil and so anti-American? I'm ashamed that he's president of the United States. And this case that we're talking about here is an example of what he is causing, the death of people. Well, I just think hateful kinds of behavior that's beyond belief. We're hearing, I can't think of all of them now, but there, once a week you hear about this. I mean, I just think of the black guy who was killed in New York City about 6 months ago, and they acquitted all the police of everything. And he was selling pencils or something, and and it was illegal, so they got him down and they choked him to death, and he died right there. And they got the video, and no consequences at all because he's black. Doesn't matter. You're black, so Black Lives Matter. But apparently, here's a white life that doesn't matter. And Elizabeth Warren doesn't matter. She's Pocahontas. So I'm done with this. My next program I want to do is on Romanticism. Two great books I want to talk about the history of Romanticism and what real Romanticism is, which we don't know much about, but that's what I want to do. Is inform you what Romanticism could really means in a human way, in a universal way. So that's it. Larry Talks on YouTube. At last, I know we've been off the air for like a month or two, but we'll have another program really quick on romance. That's important, huh? Okay, bye-bye.